Welcome back to the Recognisably Different podcast, guys. As always, thank you for tuning in. I hope my voice isn't going to sound too bad this episode. I've been bunged up with a cold for the last few days, so I hope it's not coming across too bad on this audio. So yeah, we're just going to dive straight into this week's topic, which is how to build real confidence. So I think a really good place to start with this topic is being able to understand the difference between real confidence and fake confidence. And I think a real good example of this is what is sitting on the shelf behind me, alcohol. So I think what you find is that obviously a lot of people, when they consume alcohol, they are potentially a bit more confident. However, essentially that is just a fake confidence, but you can find yourself caught in this spiral of feeling like you need alcohol to be confident. And I've known people over the years, like friends and people I went to school with, they were like two completely different people. When they were sober, they were a bit introverted, quite shy, wouldn't really speak to people on a night out, but then they get a couple of drinks down them and you can't shut them up. I think that is a real good example of fake confidence, because you're not really built like the real confidence would be built when you were sober. You're thinking that you need the alcohol to become a confident person. So then that's when you then find yourself in this vicious cycle and you start becoming very reliant on it. And again, I think that's kind of where a lot of the stigma comes from, as to you being deemed to be a boring person if you're not drinking on a night out. Chances are the people that are calling you a boring person for not drinking on a night out will be these people that need to drink for this fake confidence, and they won't have an understanding of the fact that you can go out and not drink and be confident, because you've worked on real confidence through the steps that I'm about to go through in a second. Like, real confidence is going to come from within and working on yourself, whereas the fake confidence is often going to be there to mask some sort of insecurity. But I think rather than just keep masking it, you've got to like face it head on and try and actually resolve it. I think another big thing for real confidence is to set and achieve goals that you set yourself. By you accomplishing a certain objective is naturally going to instill confidence in yourself, and it's going to help you to build a sense of competence and self-trust within yourself as well. And again, talking from experience from a fitness background, you know what I mean? When you say you're going to do these things, like when I did my first photo shoot, I stuck to it and I worked throughout this process. And then what I got at the end of it from a confidence perspective was like, wow, because that was the very first time I'd ever really put my mind to something, stuck at it, and actually completed it. I believe that was a very important stepping stone into me becoming the person that I am today, and the reason that I'm doing the things that I'm doing today. I think that was the first stepping stone, and I've just built on that over time. But that all started from me setting a goal and achieving it. The achieving it is a very important part. Like, anyone can set goals. Anyone can say, I'm going to do this photo shoot. I want to run a marathon. I want to do high rocks. Anyone can say that. But actually achieving it is a whole other thing. I think you have to achieve it to build that confidence. And I think, kind of following on from that topic, another thing is to think about is facing your fears head on. Let's say it's something quite big. You're going to have fears because you're stepping into the unknown. I think it's so important to step outside of your comfort zone and to confront these fears, because that is going to really help to build up resilience. You're going to have that little bit of imposter syndrome, or you're going to have that little chip on your shoulder that's trying to talk you out of it, say, oh, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't do this, it's too hard. On the other side of your comfort zone, again, I believe, based on my experiences, that's where you're going to really build and instill real confidence within yourself and your abilities. And then the final point I want to touch on is improving your skills. If you are continuously learning and developing your skills over time, naturally that is going to increase your confidence. Again, touching on the imposter syndrome, like imposter syndrome is not a bad thing. It's only a bad thing if you let it get the better of you. I think if you have an imposter syndrome, it shows that you are exactly where you need to be, because you're stepping out of your comfort zone. You're doubting yourself, But the only reason you're doing that is because you're making big steps forward. If you were just chilling and just taking everything casually, you're not really driven to do much, you're probably not going to have imposter syndrome because you haven't really got any ambitions and any goals, any targets. So don't see imposter syndrome as a bad thing. It's about repetitions, and I'm not just talking repetitions in a gym sense. Whatever skill you're trying to improve, like, again, using me as an example, personal training. In my first year of personal training, I had a lot of imposter syndrome because I just winged it, to be honest. Obviously, I fresh out the PT course. They don't teach you anything about business, marketing, how to get clients. They don't teach you anything about the business side of things. So you're just left to wing it. And that's exactly what I did for my first year. I just winged it. And it was only when I got into that second year, I held my hands up and I thought, I don't really know what I'm doing, or I don't know how I'm going to push this forward anymore. So what did I do? I focused on improving my skills. I did courses. I had mentors. I paid a lot of money for these courses and for these mentors. But what I learned in that second year, I believe, pushed me forward 3, 4, 5 years in my ability. That imposter syndrome diminished massively because I'd improved my skills and I'd done more PT sessions. My 500th PT session was a hell of a lot better than my first one. But you've got to do the first one to get to 500. And it's just repetition. So again, you could argue that if you are constantly having this imposter syndrome and you're not feeling confident in your ability, you've probably not done enough repetitions. So you just need to spend more time, more hours, doing more repetitions of the thing. I hope everything within this video made sense, and I hope you took some valuable takeaways from this video. If you did, I'd love to know what you found most useful. So leave me a comment below and let me know. If you enjoyed this week's episode, please drop the video a like. And if you aren't already and you're new around here, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It helps me and it helps the channel out massively. As always, thank you for tuning in and have a fantastic rest of the week.